Some music artists rely on their voices to get attention, some on performances, and some on drama and controversy. But these artists who I'm about to show you incorporate world building to create not just hype, but also positive reception. They do this through satisfying their audience's needs for context, escape, and fantasy. So let's get into it. The 5 levels of artist world building. Level 1. Performance world building.
And the clothes rip off! Ah! And she's in her underwear! Gag, so good.
The first level of world building includes artists that build a universe within a performance. An example of this is Doechii's live performance in the 2025 Grammy Awards, where she performed a medley of Catfish and The Nile is a River. These are her original songs and they already contain strong messages in and of themselves. So to make a performance from these songs, there are a lot of creative materials to work with.
I really wanted to exercise my theater kid in me, and also I was like, what if we merge rap and musical theater and make something cool out of it?
In Doechii's performance, she combined rap with musical theater and fashion, as well as taking inspiration from Thom Browne's suit design. And I don't know if she did this on purpose, but her looks on stage really reminds me of the dark academia core. If you don't know this, it's a whole aesthetic and subculture in and of itself. Her clear and sharp lyrics about self-discovery and awareness fits very well with the dark academia look, which evokes a feeling of detachment, intellectualism, and understanding. Her over-the-top, expressive choreography is what ties it all together. It creates a cohesive world where Doechii brings the audience away from reality and into her inner world. Not just what happened in her life, but what she thinks and her beliefs about it, in a theatrical and dramatic way. The way her audience reacts after her performance says everything. Awe, respect, admiration. She gave the performance her all and we all felt it as the audience. Level 2. Album world building. Level 2 artists don't just create a world on stage, they create whole albums. An example of this level is Taylor Swift with her Folklore and Evermore albums released in 2020. Taylor usually makes songs about her personal life, but with these 2 albums, she created a fantasy world with strong imagery, visuals, and the emotions that tie everything together: loss, nostalgia, and melancholy. Taylor told Billboard about the making of Folklore. It started with imagery. Visuals that popped into my mind and piqued my curiosity. Stars drawn around scars, a cardigan that still bears the scent of loss 20 years later. Battleships sinking into the ocean, down, down, down. The trees swing in the woods of my childhood, hushed tones of let's run away and never doing it. The sun-drenched month of August sipped away like a bottle of wine. A mirrored disco ball hovering above a dance floor. A whiskey bottle beckoning, hands held through plastic. A single thread that, for better or for worse, ties you to your fate. Pretty soon, these images in my head grew faces or names and became characters. I found myself not only writing my own stories, but also writing about or from the perspective of people I've never met, people I've known, or those I wish I hadn't. Evermore, the sister album, had images of fragmented memories, cabin-like settings, and shifting scenes of nature. It expanded on the world that Taylor has built in Folklore, albeit in a more hopeful tone. The critical responses of these 2 albums were positive. Folklore won Album of the Year at the 2021 Grammys, and Evermore was nominated for Album of the Year at the 2022 Grammys. And for Taylor, after these 2 albums were released, she received more respect for her songwriting, apart from her already well-known ability to produce major pop hits. Level 3. Character world building. Level 3 artists do something more than just creating characters, they fully become the characters. Complete with outfits, hairstyles, personas, and the music itself, we feel that these characters are in some way the artist's alter egos that they've developed. Now, in my last video, I've talked about Tyler the Creator having a great eye for detail. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it in the description. Anyways, the strength comes out again with his character world building. Instead of just building characters around emotions or moods like Taylor Swift in her Folklore and Evermore albums, Tyler takes it to the next level by building worlds for his characters, as well as expressing himself as them, both on stage and on screen. He develops specific traits, sounds, and environments for his characters, making them seem real and distinctive instead of fictional and flat. As an example, Tyler St. Chroma character in Chromacopia wears a mask and a jacket, has a distinctive hairstyle, and moves in a strange way. The on-screen St. Chroma reflects this eeriness. He exists in a world with lack of color that then explodes into colors. He hangs around at a deserted area, commands men in black suits into a large shipping container, dances on an airplane, and blows up people. Sounds weird, but it's all part of the character, and it works really well. His fans love it, and Tyler becomes even more well-known after this.
But St. Chroma is no gentle conductor. He's sharp, spooky, and strange. The song features Daniel Caesar delivering gospel-leaning vocals, while Tyler whisper raps in a way that feels both intimate and unnerving. It's layered with claps, stomps, choir chants, flutes, and synths. The production's full and eerie, with everything timed like a ritual. You can't tell if St. Chroma wants to lead you or haunt you, but either way, you're following.
Character world building requires more commitment from the artist than performance or album world building. When you're building a character from scratch, you're investing not just your time, but also emotions into them. In a way, you're responsible for how your characters show up in the world. Level 4, Symbolic World Building. The fourth level of world building is not specific, it's symbolic. So the reason why I rank it higher than character world building is because I believe it takes more skill to translate emotions and symbols into in-depth world building. Sleep Token is the example that I want to talk about today. Even the name of the band is tied into the lore, which is about giving offerings called tokens to a character called Sleep, who is worshipped and seen as God. It sounds confusing if you're not a fan, but the first genius element about this symbolic world building is the language that the artists use. On their YouTube channel, Sleep Token uses words like worship, offering, gatherings, or rituals to replace more commonly used words as stream, products, tours, or concerts. This subtle choice is intentional and evokes in the reader an emotional theme of devotion, which is usually connected to religions and most often subconsciously. Since religion is a universal and deeply rooted cultural concept that exists in all of us even if we are not religious. Just this one simple thing is enough to draw a new audience into the world that Sleep Token has built, subconsciously or consciously out of curiosity. For existing fans, it creates a sense of community by allowing them to repeat those words as part of the shared experience within the fanbase. By the way, you should check out the cover art of their songs because they are so beautifully designed. The visual designs definitely contribute to the fantasy world that the band has created. Anyways, Sleep Token's symbolic world building is subtle, they exist in the details. Take a look at the symbols on the visualizers of their album Sundowning. At one glance, they may not appear like anything much, but keep listening to the song while you gaze at it and you'll start to feel like they're communicating something powerful. Sleep Token's album Take Me Back to Eden features 12 original creatures created with a high level of detail that is able to bypass the conscious mind. All of these details are intentionally created with deep symbolic meanings. Their character designs go beyond the characters themselves, they become symbols for something bigger than them. Level 5, Universe World Building. At level 5, the artists don't just build a world anymore, they build a living, breathing universe through their body of work. Their world building and character building have become part of their music career. Their fans understand the lore and follow their journey religiously. On this level, we need to talk about 21 Pilots. The band first introduced a character called Blurryface in 2015, and for the next 10 years, a full saga, let's call it the Blurryface saga, was then introduced to the audience through the course of their 5 albums, Blurryface, Trench, Scaled and Icy, Clancy, and Reach. 21 Pilots not only communicate their universe to fans through music, performances, and visuals, but also through scavenger hunts, ciphers, and puzzles. In the band's universe, there is a city called Dima, a city that is surrounded by walls and governed by 9 bishops. The story follows Clancy, the protagonist, who is an inhabitant in the city with a strong desire to escape. The Blurryface universe has a specific location, plotline, and structure, such as personal letters, a map of Dima, or music videos that depict Dima, its citizens, and the events surrounding it. This creates enough context and supporting evidence for the audience to buy into the solidity and reality of this world, even when we know it's fiction. Since the story unfolded for a decade, it continuously created mystery, anticipation, engagement, and support from fans. As the audience, we received specific details about the world, such as the controlling and oppressive nature of the city Dima, its annual assemblage of the glorified, Violus, the hijacked religion by the bishops, and the bandidos who are the rebels of the continent of Trench. The lore was never fully revealed until at the end of the 10-year period, confirming the narrative that the fans have decoded from pieces of information they've been given. And in the middle of it all are the journaling-style letters from Clancy that creates a personal sense of connection with the fans and elaboration of the plot. 21 Pilots' purpose of making music is to make people think and encourage them to find joy in what they come to believe in life. They're able to achieve this purpose through their body of work, the level of complexity and detail in their world building, and the meaningful story woven throughout their albums. So there we have it, the 5 levels of artist world building. I hope these examples have inspired you in some way to incorporate creative world building into your music. This was fun to make and I can't wait to see you in the next video.